Hey, welcome to Margaret Being Margaret. It is it's Saturday. I don't want to shower, I don't want to put makeup on, I don't want to do a darn thing kind of day. Have eyebrows on, tiny bit of lipstick, I think that's about it. However, it's just the humidity is still here, but it's not as high, and there's a little bit of air, and I'm a happy girl. I'm walking around the house. The living room side of the house has got the sun coming in, even though the blinds are closed. The outside is a little too sunny. We're in the almost a bedroom place today. So before I sit, because I'm going to park myself, and I have all my notes. I wanted to show you what I'm wearing. It's my fashion show of the day. No, it's not. Let's move this so that you can get the full effect. I bought a t-shirt. Whoopee! It is the most comfortable t-shirt, V-neck, so that's nice. Loose, but not crazy loose. I'll put up. I got it on Amazon. They weren't terribly expensive, but I've washed it and it still feels beautiful. It's a cotton rayon. Oh, I like it. And I went back to my youth. I'm wearing so many skirts. I bought 4 of these because they're nice and they're comfortable. These I bought in a large instead of an extra large, and I'm really an extra large. But they've got plenty of material, so it's not too bulky. And this, I'm just wearing always here. But if I want to look like I'm trying to be a little bit human, I can do this. That's not happening. So anyway, my new uniform. I just did something either very good or very bad. I bought 3 more of these in gray, blue, and another black because these are going to fit me forever. And I bought 4 or 5 of these, and I'm going to throw away the rest of my summer tops, which don't feel super comfortable. And I'm going to wear these. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my fashion tip for the day: how to be slovenly like Margaret, but be happy. So I'm going to park it on the bed because that's where I want to be. All right. So we're there's air. I'm so happy. All right, I have a million notes, but when I take notes, they're in no particular order. What I do is reread all the comments from the last couple of videos, and if I was smart, which no one ever accused me of, I would write in these as I read the comments so I don't have to go back over 100 of them. First thing, I gotta get a drink. If you are not someone who's been reading the comments, I would urge you to go back. What fun that is. There are so many people from all over the world commenting because I've asked you to. I love it, love it, love it. It's enlightening, and the biggest thing I've taken away is we're all the bloody same. The differences are minor. We all have the same thoughts, the same feelings, and it made the world for me a little closer. I have a habit of thinking, okay, you're way over there in Africa. It doesn't pertain to me. Yeah, it does. You're my next door neighbor. Even if you don't take that away, the comments and the sharing, you can spend an hour just visiting with like-minded people or people who can give you a different perspective. Every single one of us has so much in common. I am so enjoying this connection, and I hope you are. Please keep your comments coming. What a gift this has been for me personally. All right, so stop that, Margaret. Where am I going to be? Oh, a lot of the comments talked about, Margaret, stop saying you're old. I don't think I'm old. I think I say that, I'm an old lady, because I'm trying to remind myself that I'm not 25 because I don't feel 69. I don't know what 69 is supposed to feel like. Maybe you can tell me. Do any of us feel our age? Maybe if we have more health problems, we feel it. If somebody had tried to pin me down with how old do you feel, I have a hard time going into my 40s in my brain. So question 1 for today is, how old do you feel? Physically, how old do you feel? Mentally, how old do you feel? Physically, I probably feel like I'm in my 50s. just because, when I get up and down, I know it now. And I was going to say I don't have the stamina. I don't know if that's true. That not having the stamina or not having the interest in abusing my body as much. Mentally, probably maybe 40. So that's my thing. Let's discuss, folks. A lot of where that came from is me climbing up and down on the counter, which I think is so funny because I don't have any issues with that, but I can't reach over and touch my toes. A lot of people said, Margaret, you're so limber. I don't, no, I'm not. Like, I don't have a lot of flexibility in my back. I don't have a lot of strength in my arms. I can't touch my toes. It's funny. My mom, in her 70s, she would come into the salon and I would make her show people 75, and she could just, from nothing, reach over and touch her toes, straight-legged. And I'm, 40, and I'm thinking I can touch my knees. I don't come by that genetically. I don't know what that is that I can climb up and down like that. I know a couple of years ago, I think only 3, the staff for their Christmas present, I took them to an exercise class. Yeah, they loved it. It was one of those, hanging from ropes and doing all sorts of movements. I just thought it would be fun. One of the things that they do, you put the hammock under your butt, hold on to the swing rope, and lay back and open your legs as much as you can. And I remember my Kim looking at me like, holy crap, Margaret, because I was like, whoa, because I have a lot of mobility, I think, in my hips. Only place I still have mobility, folks, so don't be too impressed. I'm sure most of you can touch your toes. There's a question for you. Can you touch your toes? My aloe plant. Oh, you guys had a tough time with that one. It had gotten way too big. And my glasses are driving me crazy, but I need them to see down here. It had just gotten too big. A lot had a problem with me getting rid of it. And I know aloe's good for things. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to use it. So I really didn't know what to do. The option of keeping it outside, I live in Massachusetts. You can't stay outside in the winter, not even into the fall. So it's been rehomed. Chris and Patty, thank you. So it's been rehomed to a good home. I have my silly little cactus in the pot there, and it makes me laugh because it's such a spindly little thing. And I hope it stays a spindly little thing, which it won't. I guess I've asked at some point, what do you do in your spare time? And a couple people were talking about reading and books, and what am I reading? I don't read anything heavy. Life is too painful. I can't concentrate on things like that. I don't want to read historical things. I feel like I'm fairly well versed in recent history, World War II on, especially because my mom was in Germany during World War II. She was a 9-year-old. And I've asked so many questions of her. I used to bring her into school on project days and have her be my project so she could talk about World War II, so I always get an A. I almost feel like I lived it vicariously, and it's very, very painful to relive that. I really feel the emotions that she had. So I don't want to read anything historical. It's just, I read mindless. I don't read mindless romance. Yeah. I do read murder mysteries, but nothing that's going to, not psychological thrillers. So it's all fairly light reading. I get most of my reading from BookBub, BookBub. It's an online thing where you can get free books, 99-cent books. I'm cheap, I go for the free books. That's always nice too, because if you don't like the book, you can just delete it. I haven't read a hardcover or a physical book in 8-10 years, only because I read so much, or I always read so much, that I used to have, the stacks of books, and I don't want that. I can't handle that. So this is wonderful to have them on my iPad and then get rid of them. Newspapers and stuff I do read, but I read online, and I skim through. I hate the CNN and Fox or any of the news online, that a lot of it, they have the video but not the written. I want to read it. I don't want to hear it, because then you hear the slant of the political slant, and I'm not interested. I want to read the words. So I don't watch any news, no, ever, ever, ever. I was asking about shopping, and if you have the local shops, and if you have to go, and if you have farmers markets. I love that conversation. I love the responses. I had put to some of you how envious I was that you could walk to your local shopping area. I would love that, mainly because shopping, for one, I don't have to buy much, and I throw stuff out daily. You know, I buy 2 cucumbers. By the time I get to the second one, it's too soft. So I would love just to go buy what I want for the day. I think I would spend less too, because when I go, I buy, and I impulse buy. That was the best thing that I think I got from all of your responses, how buying online and having it delivered stops the impulse buying. Because I can go into Hannaford's for milk and come out with enough junk food that most people could make last for a week, and I'll eat in a day. Yeah. So I think that would be the positive for me for online buying. But I really enjoy running in and out of Hannaford's. I would enjoy more running in and out of a local little farm stand. Even here, I would have to drive to a farm stand. If I'm going to do that, I might as well go to Hannaford's. I've got a hair in my mouth. And get my milk at the same time. Eating. I was surprised how many of us do not have breakfast versus how many do. Now, maybe all the non-breakfast eaters are the ones who answered, but a lot of us don't eat when we first get up in the morning, which one of my sons always had a full breakfast when he got up, Dennis. Michael always fought me on breakfast from the time he started, like middle school. And I didn't understand. I felt so guilty if he didn't eat it. Now, as an older adult, I finally understand he couldn't eat morning breakfast. I very seldom do breakfast, and a lot of you were the same way. And a lot of you talked about how much things have changed for you. That's just helpful to me, because, most of the time I think, what the heck is going on? And we're all asking that. That's nice. A lot of people understanding the smiling business, understanding that as older people, we don't have to be invisible unless we let ourselves. And that big smile is making a massive difference. And a lot of you have seen it. The rest of you are going to try it, right? Somebody, or a bunch of somebody, have told me they love my style of videos. First time in my life I've been accused of having style. I don't know any other way to do things except this. I can't, no, this is what you get, folks, like it or not. And you know how funny, somebody posted that said, I'm out of here. All you do is talk about yourself. I think it's called Margaret being Margaret. I don't know who else to talk about. I do try to include you all because I'm interested in you. So, bye. When I talked about wearing dresses, I guess dresses are making a comeback. One of the things that I like is the looseness, because when you have rolls of fat, I don't want them all showing. And I'm obviously not going to do enough exercise or do what I have to do to get rid of my rolls of fat. So I like the dresses coming back. I didn't realize they were, and I should have, because you see more being advertised now. A little slow on the uptake, Margaret. I like loose things. I don't like fitted things. And I like flowing things. But what I found is, the short video I put up with that short daisy black dress? That's like a swing dress. That's back to my high school days. That's how I dressed back then. That's why I'm so comfortable in it. And somebody said it suits your personality. I don't know what it is about that does, but I do agree. That's me. That's the part of me that I embrace the most. I love that dress. And I like the short. I like the short. I like the full length. I don't like the midi at the calf, because all it does is show you that my calves are as big as my waist. I'm just more comfortable now in the skirts, particularly. And somebody had said, they can't wear dresses because they're short. I think you could, and I know a lot of us are conscious of our legs now. So wear the middies. I know you're short and you feel like it makes you stumpy, but don't wear a big moo. Wear something a little, not fitted, but a little closer, and you would look just fine. You'd probably look gorgeous, especially if you think you look gorgeous. I think I look gorgeous. Good news is, I think most of us have stopped caring if we look gorgeous, if we feel we look adequate to good. And I like how I'm doing now. And I think that's the message so many of you shared. We're comfortable. Oh, 69 years to get comfortable. We're talking about how we get treated as old people and how, I don't feel invisible. Try that one more time. And I don't feel invisible. And I think it's because of my attitude. Very easy to walk into a store head down and, schlep around. But I'm walking in like I'm happy to be around people. And for the most part, I really am. It's making such a difference, that smile, that engaging a little bit. It's amazing. And I think it's the carriage of just being happy to be alive at this point, not because I'm flipping old, because I'm understanding that I'm on the other side of the mountain. Phew. And Deb Shaw, thank you, Deb. I just laughed because it brought me back to a story. She talks about how she's out walking now, that people pull over and ask if she needs help because they see her walking, whether it's slow or, winded or whatever. And it's not the same as when she was young and people were going by and it was the guys, slowing down and whistling and shouting to her, and what a different experience it is these days. It just brought back, I used to be a runner in my 20s and 30s. And I used to run. We have Warner Boulevard, which is a 2-mile straightaway. Didn't have any houses on it when I used to run. People used to get upset because I ran on it. It's very wide. It's only 2 lanes, but it could really be 4. When as I say, when I do anything, the exertion, I'm red as a beet. I look like I'm having a stroke, and the sweat is pouring off me. And that's when I put my shoes on to go running. 6 o'clock in the morning, because the boys were little, I go and I'm running up the boulevard and I'm coming back. It's 2 miles one way, 2 miles the other. So I've got about 3 miles under my belt and I'm not sprinting. And as I'm running the last mile, I hear a car slow down next to me. Now that's scary. I glance over and it's a police cruiser, and he puts down his passenger window and says, "Ma'am, are you all right?" And I'm still doing my slow jog, which is probably slower than if I walked. And I said, "I'm fine." And he said, "Ma'am, you don't look okay." "Fine," he said. "You're very, very red and you're perspiring." I went, "I'm running." And I said, "Really, I'm fine. This is just how I look." And he said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I don't feel like I can leave you." 1 mile. And that cruiser paced me. He could have put it in neutral and just rolled along all the way home with other cars going by. Do you know the embarrassment level? But I thought, holy crap, he thinks I'm having a stroke. He thinks I'm going to drop dead. That's how red I got even as a young girl. So Deb, thank you. That just reminded me of that story. It just makes me laugh. That's why when I'm outside and people think I look terrible, I looked terrible and sweaty and hot and tired before I left the house. Just thinking about it. The other thing that came up in everything we're talking about is how we feel like, and I'm paraphrasing and I shouldn't put words in your mouth, the wisdom of getting older. And when I think of wisdom, I think of people who actually know what they're talking about. I do not. For me, my take on wisdom is the only wisdom I have is from making about 10 million mistakes in my life and being slapped on the side of the head enough by the universe to go, "Oh, that was not good." So it's not wisdom, in my point. It's just You can, if you slap me 100 times, I'm probably going to get the message and go, you might not want to do that. And it is just life experience. Me being slapped on the head for the way I did it doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. It's usually the way I did it. So I'm careful, really careful with thinking I have any wisdom to share. I have anecdotal evidence that maybe you shouldn't do it. That's all I got. I swore I'd never go to work again to work. I have to go to work Tuesday. Somebody didn't like their highlights, which is fine. But there's nobody, because we're so understaffed, in the salon to redo it for her in less than 3 weeks. So I have to go to work Tuesday and do repair work. I don't want to, but I'm smiling. I did stop in the other day, the day I wore the flowery dress. It felt so out of place. I felt like a visitor because I haven't been there, and like I was in their way. It was awful and wonderful. So Tuesday I go to work. Monday they start ripping out the bathroom. However, Margaret being Margaret, you know, I ordered the vanity, the new mirror, the new faucet. Woody came over yesterday and had me pick out the tile for the walls and the shower basin, the pan. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I got a delivery. I got the mirror, the bathroom wall mirror. I got no vanity. The vanity says it's coming. No, it's not. They sent me 2 mirrors by mistake. So the vanity is lost in transit. I did the online chat with Home Depot. They were very, very, very nice. Still a pain in the neck. I didn't want to say neck because it takes a half an hour to do the responses back and forth. But it's better than doing it by phone because then I'll hang up on them. They agreed that the vanity is probably lost in transit. It never even said who was transporting it, so they couldn't do a tracking on it. By text, we talked, and they said, yes, we can order another one. If the first one ever came in, I could just cancel it. They could give me a discount, yay, for my trouble. And I said, well, I have to go. I had to go to a funeral. Can you just send me the email with the discount and then you give me a code? No, can't do that. It has to be done with them. So I said, all right, can you notate it and I'll come back. After the funeral, I came back and went online. Of course, it's not the same person, which you know that. So we had to go through it again. I'm still pleasant. We reordered. I did get it almost $50 cheaper, but now it won't be here till the 28th. And I'm crossing my fingers. Not doing a very good job. I'm crossing my fingers because the bathroom will be done and I'll be waiting and he'll have to come back and put the vanity in. Oh, I had to go get a coffee cup. Humidity is starting. It's getting warm. Because it's a 2-family and it's not my dream bathroom and it can't be everything that I'd love it to be. It's just the white tile, but not Subway. I think it's 10 by 18 tile across all the vertical. The floor is the tiny little hexagon ones. I don't know, they're not really even hexagon, but they're small, not pebble, because I've read too much bad stuff about that. It'd be very plain, just in white, and then I can dress it up around it. So he starts that Monday, and I will have no shower for a week and a half, even 2 weeks by the time it's done. Thank God it's hot out, because I'm going to be taking outside showers or kitchen baths. But I'll still do it. I won't stink, I promise. So I'm so, so, so excited about this. And I don't mind the chaos of construction. I really like that. So this is going to be fun for me. I won't stick around a lot because I don't want to be in their way and giving my very welcome opinion all the time. I just thought it was so funny that I can't even get a shipment without hassle. And it was funny because I'm not keeping that second mirror. It's called theft. They didn't charge me for it. And I did say to them, because I didn't want to bring it back into the local Home Depot, and say I got 2, but because they'd probably give me credit. and I didn't pay for it. So then I'm stealing money. And I said to her, what am I going to do with the second mirror? I didn't get charged. I don't want it. I have no use for it. And she said, whatever you want with it, use it, give it away, sell it. Okay, well, at least now I don't feel like I'm stealing, but I think that's awful. I understand because it's, going to get lost in transit and they're not going to, I get it. But how many billions of dollars are retailers wasting by doing that? It's the second time now, something fairly big and fairly expensive, they've said just keep it. I don't need it or want it. I'll see if anybody in the family needs it, but then, yeah, it'll go on Marketplace, I guess. What am I going to do with it? I felt better that I didn't just keep it. I said I went to a funeral Friday, and I wouldn't talk a lot about it because I don't have that right. It was a childhood friend. Her sister was my best friend. We just grew up in each other's pockets until we were 12, and then my family moved. I was actually maid of honor at her wedding, and in our very early 20s, I think, we had a falling out. It was probably 100% or at least 80% my fault. It was truly a misunderstanding, but we're young with a lot of angst. And we have not spoken in almost 50 years. Wow. Say 45, 48 years. It was not mean. It was not like we just haven't spoken. We weren't cruel to each other. It just, unfortunately, happened. And me being me, it's probably me. I went to the funeral. It was only graveside, and saw, of course, her. And we, she knew I was going to be there. I had told her. We reached out to each other, Facebook. It was like we never stopped seeing each other. And we will get together. It's time. I'll blame it on youth. She made me laugh because she said, I always wondered if we stayed close, if we would have been Thelma and Louise. And yeah, that would have happened. So there's a reason for this, because it probably would have been a good thing, because I would lead the parade and she would just follow. So I hate that she lost her sister. It's like somebody younger than us. How painful life is at this stage, we all know. But Deb, I'm so grateful, and I can't wait to sit down and talk to you. If you have somebody in your life that you should have reached out to, because shame on me, I should have done it years ago, do it. Time is so short. So I'm so pleased. Life is so good and so flippin' humid. I think it's time to turn the air conditioner on. So I'm done talking. Have a good one. I guess I'm not done talking. Have a good one. Be good to each other. Be better to yourself than to anyone else. Reach out to somebody that you know you should. Touch your toes. Leave me lots and lots of comments. Read the comments if you haven't been. I'm telling you, it will make your day. Thank you all for being here. I am so thrilled to have this little crazy family, more so now that we're interacting. Until I see you next time, don't behave.